Hello, hardcores out there. How you doing? It's Russ here from Porky's Corner, the biggest gob in sport. Today we're joined by Andy from Aberdeen. How are you doing, Andy? Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Go on, lad. What's happening?
Just like that whipper in the loft.
What?
Not bad. How's you? You all
Hey?
good? You all good?
Yeah, I'm not bad. I'm not bad. I'm not bad. It's all good stuff, isn't it?
Channel's on a roll now.
Yeah, we're on a roll, aren't we? But we've been on rolls before, but it's sustaining a minute, but I'm in a better place, aren't I? Mentally, physically, and all that nonsense at the moment, aren't I? You know what I mean? I'm not off at my brains, am I? So I'm just like aching every day, aren't I? I think, hey, Bunny, I know you're listening. Bunny said to me about weight training. I've been weight training on a few months now, and I don't ache as much as I used to. So it's a good thing, isn't it? I suppose.
I think if you keep doing stuff, it
Yeah.
gets easier, eh? You keep as long as you keep on it. I mean, you have a week or two off, you're back, it knocks you back a bit, and you got to start again, eh? Just keeping the momentum up.
Should have been sparring today with my mate, but instead I went on pads with him instead, and I've jarred my arm. But I think that's what happens, isn't it, when you get to 53, isn't it?
Hmm. Takes a wee bit longer to recover from things, eh? If you have a
Yeah,
mishap or wee setback or a wee injury.
yeah. Okay. Obviously you've seen tonight's big John Fury, big fighting man. He's only called out the four-time super middleweight champion of the world, who like trains regular with MMA guys and all that, and he's into powerlifting and all that. He doesn't do much running, but he does a lot of cardio and them stepper things. So there's John there. You know the shape John's in all year round, don't you? The Cobra. I mean, should he even reply to that? I mean, what is that? Is that just deflection tactics, do you think, because of this cut?
I
The
think
type.
so, aye. We're coming out with all sorts of nonsense now, I would think, eh? Just to try and divert the course of attention away from the real issues, eh? But that would be mismatch of the century, that would, wouldn't it? I've no doubt Big John Fury's a big, strong, rough, tough, rugged, rugged guy, but you
Oh.
can't put him in against an elite athlete, eh? That's who's younger than him.
Yeah, it's well, he's 13 years younger than him, Carl, but I don't think it'd end well for John getting in there with 14 stone, 6'1" athlete who's in really good nick. You know what I mean? And he's probably stronger now than when he was a super middle. You know what I mean? Because he didn't lift weights, did he, Carl? When he was a fighter, he believed in that core training stuff. All chin ups
Yeah,
and circuits. Like Curtis Woodhouse, he just used to do circuits all the time. For your fitness.
yeah.
Core training, isn't it? Boxing's about core training, isn't it? It's not
Mm.
about putting 140 kg on bench press cold. You know what I mean? That's just for a warm up for John. That's no. And after that, it's 200 kilo at the end of his cock.
Mr. Lifto.
Hey, mate, they're his words. They're his words. While MI5 are watching him from moon.
Was he the guy years ago in the Word? Remember the Word that used to be on? It was a guy who used to lift weights with his cock. And
Yeah.
Mr. Lifto, he was called.
Yeah. No, I think you're on about it's Euro trash, isn't it? That Euro
That's
trash.
right, a Eurotrash.
Euro trash. It used to be on after the word, didn't it, with Danny Bear back in the day? Yeah, I remember
That's right.
that. Mark Lamar, Danny Bear, then they'd have Euro trash, and they'd have all these like Germans and Swedish people, and they'd be doing a Corey deadlifts. Hey, he's all
Absolute,
the man is crackers, isn't he? Hey,
absolute madness. Absolute madness.
the deflectonator.
Keeps us all entertained, though, eh?
I've just heard a little whisper that Tim Witherspoon might be having a bit of a rumble with Big Joe Egan.
Oh, that'd be good, didn't it?
Well, they
That'd put
don't
him
get
in his
on,
place.
do they?
That'd be good.
They don't get
Uh,
on, but Tim will just tell it straight. He'll say, listen, Joe, it's a load of rubbish about you sparring Mike Tyson So let's get at it. Could you imagine a 2-time heavyweight champion at World with Big Joe Egan? You see where I'm coming? This is what we're up against now, isn't it? It's a clown show, isn't it?
It is a big circus.
Big
Why is,
circus, big stips.
why is Big John calling himself the Cockfather? What was
The Cockfather. I don't know what's he coming out with that. It's got to be for the fact they said, right, we need you to deflect some of this heat off Tyson because nobody in boxing is buying this cut. Nobody. And them that are need to get to Saudi. Them that aren't bothered about it are telling the truth. Now, I'm just going to read you a few names out here, right? Big Malk. Big Malk were running around telling people it ain't going to happen, this fight. But he never said it on his social media. Dave Allen is now coming out saying, yeah, I knew it wasn't going to happen. Never said it on his social media. Sam Jones, Steffi Bull, all of them. But they never came out and said it. Now they're experts after the fact.
wise after the event?
Yeah, because they all want to get out there, don't they? It's amazing how many people now all of a sudden have come out declaring undying love for Tyson Fury, innit? No, they ain't got a caring whale for him, have they?
And the Saudi dinner ticket, eh?
Well, that's what it is, isn't it, mate? You know?
Hmm.
So it is what it is, isn't it? It's just shocking to see, but I can't understand where he's called Carl out because, and you like when you're doing what the Cobra's doing, right? Building skyscrapers, mate. I mean, at his house, mate. His house is like humongous. There's a garage at bottom of land. There's a Ferrari in it, a Norton bike, some other fast road bike, and it's all tiled like a showroom. And upstairs, there's like a golf simulator.
Right.
He's waking up with Miss Maxim every morning, 3 kids in private school, multi-millionaire, 40-odd houses, and building skyscrapers, and got a restaurant as well. And I
He's got it
think
made, isn't he?
I think it's something to do with a casino or something. I don't know full ins and outs. I don't ask anything like that. But
I've seen
so
that.
I very much doubt there is going to be bothered about having a rumble in the jungle with old pop bang. Do you? When you go in his house, there's like plans there for more skyscrapers. Working with Nottingham Council and all that. What? They're crackers, aren't they? These people are absolutely pinch a few quid. That's all it is, isn't it?
The Cobra's got bigger fish to fry, innit?
Bigger. Well, you've seen him up there at Knockhill, didn't you? It was like Ali turning up, wasn't it?
Oh, magic.
Magic.
Brilliant, yeah.
You've got a picture there, haven't you?
I was. There you go.
Did he go on the what? An Honda he went on.
He was on a Ducati, the Ducati day.
Yeah,
I think it was.
he can ride, can't he?
He was enjoying himself at the track. Yeah, it was good to meet him. I probably wouldn't have gone to that event if I didn't. I seen his name on the advert for it, and I thought, wow, I've got to get down there. I've got to go meet him because he's one of my favourite boxers. And a leg end as well.
Yeah.
So
Not a bookend.
Not a bookend. But that was a brilliant day we had down there. I bumped into him a few times. I caught up with him at the hospitality bit where he was then, and then I bumped into him a few times. But just a sound guy, just. And his wife, I think his wife and her pal were there. They're just lovely people, eh?
Yeah.
And they love you. They're going, we love Pokey Russ. That's what they're saying.
Oh, well, you see, the thing is, I've known him 17 years, Carl, but he's bang on, mate. Honestly, just
Spot on.
and you've got to understand, like, he don't mess about with other birds and that. He don't take drugs. Do you know what I mean? He's not a drinker. Half a pint of Guinness or 2 small grey gooses, and he's all over the place. I mean, but I'm like, are you only having 2? That's it. I'm done. He's done after 2 small drinks. He's not. You think when you're retired, you'll be able to kick back, wouldn't you, and let rip?
Kick the ass out.
But he's still regimented, isn't he? I mean, he does all that training and that now. And do you know what? It wouldn't end very well for John, honestly. It wouldn't end well. I've seen John Ottbag at Halliwell Road, and I stood and watched him on it, and I didn't know if he were going on it just to send a message to all them that were watching, and I thought he didn't really impress me. Do you know what I mean? And I've seen the Cobra on the bag at 14 stone, and he'd end up on Button Moon via orbit.
He was people 60-year-old shouldn't be fighting anyway. I mean, I remember watching. You've maybe seen it. There's that documentary Knuckle about bare knuckle fighters, and there's a guy, Big Joe Joyce, and he was apparently what I've read about him, he was a formidable fighter when he was younger.
An Irish guy with moustache.
Aye, like the Yosemite Sam moustache.
Man back in the day, but as you get older, you can't do it, can you? But I think in the day, yeah, probably proper well known.
Oh, aye, yeah, wild man, I think. But he had that.
Sorry, go on.
He had that fight. He had this fight with Annie McGinley. I think he was 59 or 60 when he had the fight.
Yeah, they're the big fighting families in Ireland, aren't they? Is the James Quinn as well? He's like a famous guy.
Yeah, he's a good guy. He's a really good fighter. But I think he didn't like fighting, but because he was really good at it, put him forward to fight. I seen a video of him recently in somebody's gym. And I can't remember who it was. It was a trainer guy had him on the pads, and the guy said, "What a mega jab he had!" And he'll be in his mid-50s now, but he was just on the pads. And the trainer guy was really impressed with him. But Big Joe Joyce and Annie McGinley, they must have been 60 odd when they're fighting, but it was quite sad. It was quite sad to see people that age, like granddads, knocking the shit out of each other. They need to be doing that at that age. Yeah, you get a serious injury as well. All it takes is hitting the wrong place. And for what? What's the point?
Yeah, what problem you've got is you've got old Pop Pop Bang there running around. I personally think that he's lost. I think his mind's gone a little bit. I don't think he handles this fame thing very good. I don't think he handles it good at all. And if anybody's overly critical or constructive criticism, he flips his nut, and it's got to the stage now where people around Bricktop, they were like, "Oh, we're not really bothered about going over that part at media, in press conferences and at shows, because where the ring is, there's like a fenced off part, and then you've got loads of cables all over the floor and everything for everybody to do the jobs and that." And other media guys, I'm not going to say who, but they were like, "Oh, I don't really want to go over there. John Fury's over there." And I think eventually Bricktop's like this, right? Enough is enough. Because you seen that Misfits carry on, didn't you? Where he hit it perspex and all that, and they didn't know what to do. I mean, we know, don't we? I mean, and Dominic Negerson, we're having to babysit him in Saudi last time. So enough's enough in it. So he's on outside looking in. That's why he's saying, "We'll do it at Wembley, Pop Pop Bang."
The silly thing.
Saudi. Why aren't we shouting Saudi? Because he don't want to go to Saudi, and Tyson wants to get away from Saudi.
The silly thing is, he had a good job at BT Sport, and he actually came across really well as a pundit. He was speaking a lot of sense in that, but you knew it couldn't last. It was just a matter of time before.
Well, you know why he lost that, don't you?
Oh, with the shouting at the Jake Paul and
said Tommy's going to do it like a dog. Yeah, it was just too much, but that's what happens. There's hyping it up. There's going too far. See what they do? They do what my mum used to do. So send me to people's houses that she didn't like. See, take a bag of Skittles, Ross. Go on, give me a bag of Skittles, and just wind me off at clock. Well, that's what they've done to him, innit? Give him a bag of Skittles and point to me in one direction. And pop, pop, poppity, pop.
but that's a loose cannon.
Hey,
he's like a loose cannon.
Loose cannon? Joking me. Hey,
I couldn't find my Button Moon t-shirt tonight, but I got a NASA one. That's just got the moon on.
Well, have a look on your t-shirt closely if that's a picture at Moon, because there might be 100 men up there and George Groves. So Andy, do you think it's deflection tactics?
Oh, without a doubt, aye. Without a doubt. It'd be interesting to see what the next set of tactics is that comes out, because there's going to be something else.
It's got to be after all that. Would you give it airtime if you were Coogan?
Nah, I mean, has he been told to do that? Is he like a lapdog? He's doing as he's told.
Yeah. Well, he probably don't want to put it on his channel, really, but it does views and it
Yeah.
keeps in with them, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But okay. Do you think he should fight Mickey Theo, John, and put that to bed? Because he did call out any man over 50, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, if we could ever get it happen, it make sense, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would, wouldn't it? Yeah, it would.
It's got it had a bit of following, didn't it, for the time? So people would probably watch that. I think. No.
Yeah, yeah, they would. Yeah, yeah, they would. It's going to be interesting to see what happens moving backwards. But like I said to him, why Wembley and not Saudi, John?
Tell you, Mickey Theo still looks in good shape in that video, eh?
Yeah, he should be with what shakes he has. Not special shakes.
Special shape.
No, I'll tell you why Mick gets to look like that. I'll tell you what Mick's diet is. He gets up in the morning, 5 o'clock. He's got a gym on his land, goes straight into the gym, 45 minutes, hammers it. Right. Then he goes in, has a shower, takes his dogs out, right? Comes back. No, takes dogs out, comes back, has a shower, then goes to a cafe in Epping Forest, 2 poached egg on granary, no butter, avocado, black coffee. Then about 4 hours later, chicken breast and pasta. And then some at night, you don't eat no chocolate, don't drink alcohol or oat. And he just trains hard all the time. So he's ready all year round, making
Yeah.
it. Obviously, he's not a boxer, is he? But he's
Aye.
self, isn't he? Yeah, and he'd be
So-
too fit for John. John might have a better boxing IQ than him, but would
Mhm.
John standing after 2 or 3 rounds? I don't think he would. I think he'd
Mhm.
blow his arse. That's why I backed Mick, because I looked at the situation, and Mick's not as tall as me. I'm 5'8", he's shorter than me, but he's wider, about 14 stone, and he's just right for John.
Yeah.
He'd be too fit for John, honestly. It'd be too. I don't know about now. I don't know what his training regime is now, but a couple of years ago, his training regime were pretty intense, and that were every day, mate, not a day off.
Yeah.
I think he had 1 day off, and then he'd eat rubbish all day, and then go back.
Aye.
So he's looked after his son. Obviously, he used to take steroids back in days, didn't he? But he doesn't take them now. Well, he told me he didn't, so I can only go. I never seen him take any.
Aye.
But John's not in shape, is he? But if you remember, first time they cancelled fight, John says, nah, you know what? I don't want to fight him now because I'm going to look stupid in a pair of Speedos. Weighing. Who wants to see a big fat man like me with his belly hanging over his shorts? Pop, pop, bang. That's what they were saying. And then a week later, they were going on, they were screaming down phone to Mick, turn up, I'll tear you apart. They were saying, I were like, whoa, what's going on here? That's Max over there. You know what I mean?
That day he said come to Manchester. If I was Mick and I wanted to fight him, I'm not a fighter. If I was Mick and I wanted to fight him, I would have gone there. I would have gone there.
We did,
Called his
mate. Listen, we did go to Manchester. We went to Manchester. First time, Mick went up with two big geezers, and I met them there. That was first billboard. And then after that, it was just me and him. We went on our own, and we
Yeah.
put 2 on I had 2 put up on Deansgate, 2 big ones outside Man City ground, and people were actually walking by in the street, taking pictures of it and talking to us. You never seen nothing like it. Not one of them had a good word to say about him. Not how's about that one? People in Man City tops were coming up and saying, I hope you knock him out. They were going, yeah, knock him out. Listening, knock him out. You know that, man? Put him on the moon, they kept saying, put him on the moon. But it didn't happen, did it? And that's it. And do you know what? After 18 months of it, I said, you know what? Let's nip it in bud now. We got fed up of it in end because he went quiet, didn't he?
Aye.
And after I gave him deadline, I said, right, I think it was 2022 August, was it? 2021. I said, right, you've got what end that month. And the last one was where there were two gone up. There were two more gone up. It was under like in Piccadilly near a bridge, near an underground bridge. They were the last two billboards, and he didn't bite whatsoever. Now, let me tell you this. If you're going to somebody's town and you're putting billboards up all over and calling them out when he said any man over 50 and mixed on, yes, please, what more could I can do? I couldn't do it. I was the front guy, and he was the guy I wanted to fight. We couldn't do any more, could we? Be honest. I don't see Mick now. We couldn't do any more, could we?
Nah, that's it. You can only do so much, eh?
He didn't want to know. Like, he didn't want to know fighting Joe Egan. But I don't know why Joe's jumped on bandwagon. But if it's something he wants to do, good luck to him. But John ain't going to take him up on that offer. He wants a scalp. Whereas if he gets flogged, he can say, yeah, but I lost to a world champion. If he loses Joe Egan or Mickey Fio, what's that going to do for his image? Because he's built up this image as this roadman killer. When really, it ain't true. Do you know what? You know, a lot of things in life, Andrew, are built on myth.
Yep.
You know, it's the myth. And the myth, it gets bigger and bigger and it becomes folklore. Then it becomes stolen valor. That's what happens. And that's what's happened with him. That's what's happened. And he obviously got people fawning all over him because everybody does over the heavyweight champ, don't they? And he's the heavyweight champ's dad. But he probably thinks it's him because he's probably thinking, well, Tyson's my spunk, so I'm the heavyweight champ. Well, look at his pea brain. Have you ever seen anybody when they're asking a question? Look at his face when somebody's asking him a serious question. You can see his eyes rolling around in his head. You don't know what's going to happen next. I find him fascinating, me, but he's a crank, isn't he? He is an absolute crank and he's crackers. And eventually, your 15 minutes is up. And when Bricktop says there's no more room at the inn, meaning sport, and then them at Saudi saying there's no more room at the inn, he's got to go his own way now, hasn't he? He's trying to carve his own way out. And look how he's trying to do it. There's no subtlety about it, is it? It's right. I'm just going to call out an Hall of Fame box. I mean, what next? Who next? Joe Calzaghe? Hey? Or Clinton Woods? What next? Let's look at start calling world champions out. Or Johnny Nelson, is he going to be next? Horsecock? Hey?
I seen Bean talking about him the other night. There must have been the Johnny Horsecock Foundation or something. Bean was a top knob jockey at that fun.
The Johnny Horsecock Foundation. Yeah, that sounds interesting. Listen, John got an evening with Johnny Nelson, 15th of March, 1861 suite in Mansfield. Good night. Be there or be square. Live on stage, the Horsecock.
He's a good singer, according to Bean.
Johnny can't sing for Toppy. Listen, there's only one singer in Sheffield, and that's Dennis Hobson. But he can only sing one song. Fly me to the moon. Let me sing a lullaby. You what?
A t-shirt there, that's where he's going.
There's them 100 men out there that John Fury put up there. The life's not worth living now, according to Big JF.
Only fights astronauts.
Hey, oh my God, you couldn't make it up, could you? But listen, it's just a bit of banter in it, and if people want to take it wrong way, so be it. But like I said earlier, it's just to deflect off that cut because all the experts have gone over all the evidence, and if it went to a court of law and they tried to say it were all true, they'd be found guilty of fraud, wouldn't they? I've had a lawyer look at it. Right, and I've had other people who are bright as buttons look at everything. Ex-cut men, a lot, and they've even spoke to people around the scene. Do you know what I mean? You know about the mole being named, don't you?
Who is the mole? Why?
It's on members area, but don't say. Let them watch it on members.
Oh, I'll check it out. Maybe that's one I missed.
Horsecock's mole. Horsecock running around with a mole, what, on the end of his top on his leg. It'd be like Ginny Sacks in Sopranos. They had to remove a 90-pound mole off her arse. We'll be one of them off Johnny's Corey. Easy.
Let's get the mole catcher in.
Hey?
Get the mole catcher in.
Let me ask you something different here, right? All these people, right, that have been saying, yeah, I knew it wasn't going to happen, I knew it wasn't going to happen. They're all saying that now. Why didn't they come out, Andy, and say it on the social medias a few months ago? They hadn't, have they?
Got no balls, eh?
Stolen valor. But look, I know a few that have been saying it, and I've said to it, I'm not going to say it, I'm not going to say them on it because they're friends of mine. I said, look, why aren't you coming out and saying that? Oh, we're not like you. That's what you mean you're not like you. Well, you can come out and say that. We've still got to work in the industry. I said, yeah, well, you should be coming out and saying it and be real. Being a real person, saying it. And we're talking trainers, managers, advisors. One of them a promoter, not a big promoter, but you see where I'm coming from? They're not saying it. So I can't give these people any kudos at the moment. Yeah, I still speak to them that, but if they're not going to say it on the social medias, what's the point of coming out
Scared.
now saying it, eh?
Too scared, to be honest. Eh?
Well, that's what we're up against, isn't it now? And it's a society problem, isn't it? I mean, this is where we're at with boxing now, right? We've got these promoters, right, saying, right, or whoever said it to Coogan, put this out and deflect this off this cut. So we've got a man, right, who's pulled out twice now of a fight for millions and millions, and he wants the date put even further back because he calls the shots. Fair enough. So fans are parked up, belts are parked up. His last mandatory were 2 years ago in April. Dylan White were his last mandatory. Yeah, Chisora were a voluntary. And Garno, that were a non-fight, wasn't it? It wasn't even a voluntary, was it? So that's where we're at. But we've got YouTubers now putting rubbish out like this to deflect what's really going on. And it's starting to dumb Sweden, mate. And they're deflecting it with stories about a 60-year-old man in May pulling out an Hall of Famer who's been retired 10 years in May. How crazy is that?
It's mad, eh? The person I feel sorry for is Usyk.
I do.
It's like he's just been cast aside, isn't it? The guy's a legend, eh? Usyk, he's a future Hall of Famer and probably all-time great. And he's just been taken for granted, isn't he? He's just been. I wouldn't blame him if he fights Hrgovic on 70. Maybe he's not allowed to, though. I don't know. Maybe it's in the contract that he's got to fight Fury, yeah. But I wouldn't blame him if he fought Hrgovic. Or somebody.
What do you think to Zoom with Tyson and T Towel Turkey, Triple T, and Egus, the manager, and Usyk? What do you think to that?
It's just a farce, isn't it? But it's sure is he in with the Turkey man? Like, is he groveling up to him, or has Turkey man got a revolver stuck in his back, saying, telling him what to say?
Well, this is how I look. This is how I look at it. Right, I've heard back that Tyson Fury wants to come home, and he's a bit fed up. Right, you can understand that he's been out there ages, hasn't he? Right, he's not. You wouldn't say he's hyperactive, isn't he, and all that. And you can imagine if he can't go blow a bit of steam off, which you can't blow any steam off over there like he wants to, can you? So he probably wants to come back, doesn't he? Right. Now, if he comes back, they'll be worried that he might never go back. You see where I'm coming from? That's the problem you're going to have now. Now, the only way around it for him now is to do what he did with Vladimir thing. Vladimir too, he didn't want that fight. For some reason, he just didn't want to fight him a second time. Now, he's going to have to retire. To get out of this now, he's going to have to retire. But when you've been taking Pagondis Sarganas, or that car, what's it called, that car?
Pagani Zondas.
Pagani Zondas, when you've been taking stuff like that off them, which how dear they're a couple of million quid, aren't they?
A little bit that, I think. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, when you take cars like that off these people and jewellery and plenty free gratis out there for weeks and weeks and all living fat off the land, the guy's going to want to return, isn't he, on his money? But you're dealing with different sort of people. These are not no ordinary people, these are Furies. Do you know what I mean? The sharp as a tack. Tyson's not fighting anybody. Big John's not fighting anybody. And Tommy's not fighting anybody. They're the fighting men that don't fight. That's the bottom line. Tommy's done never having a boxing match again. He only fights gimmick fights. John there, all he does is talk about fighting, but don't fight. And you've just seen Tyson fight Chisora and White, and then a guy who never had a fight as a boxer, and now he's pulled out twice against Usyk. So I put these in the bracket that says big fighting men that don't fight. Well, am I right? And then you've got Yui who can't get a fight and wants to fight.
Proof's in the pudding there. That's it.
They're all parked up, aren't they? All of them for by hook or crook. I don't know if it's a knock-on effect or what, but none of them seem to be having much luck, or they just don't want to fight. They just want to talk about fighting. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know. But I wouldn't read too much into the big Joe Egan and big John Fury thing, because really they're mates. So that's a put-up job, and it's gone now. That's died a death, and it's a shame, but I'm sure that Tim Witherspoon will oblige Joe Egan.
That'll be good. I like to see that.
That won't last 2 minutes, would it? How long would that last?
Tim Witherspoon was a good fighter back in his day, wasn't he? He was a top heavyweight in the 80s, wasn't he?
Yeah, it wouldn't last 2 minutes. It wouldn't surprise me if Big Ron decided to get involved in that, because Tim Witherspoon were Dennis Hobson's dad's minder and driver, and he lived in one of his houses for years up in Bailey in Sheffield. So I'm assuming that Big Ron might have something to do with that, Dennis. So we'll see, won't we? But let him get at it. If it gets him a few quid, it might shut Joe Egan up, just giving him a few quid. Man, I'm sick of him coming out with all his nonsense on social media. You know what I mean?
Remember Tim Witherspoon made a comeback. I think he was about 38, wasn't he? He had a few good wins at that point. But I think he was wanting to fight Tyson, but he couldn't get the Tyson fight. I think he beat Jorge Luis Gonzalez. He was supposed to be a big Cuban guy who's maybe up and coming, but Witherspoon flattened him, didn't he?
Hey, listen, Tim Witherspoon came back and won world title again, didn't he? After losing it to Bone Crusher, didn't he? So, do you want to go on to part 2?
Yeah, just give me 5 minutes.
Give you 5 minutes then. All right. See you in a bit, kid. Pop, man.
Cheers.